Greetings, peace, and love. Welcome again to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition podcast. My name is Brother Frank. I'm with my brother and former political prisoner,
Abdul Haq Islam.
Today's episode, we focus on EID Mubarak, which for those is a very important part of the recognition of a Muslim for what's needed in a Muslim's development. So for those who are viewing for the first time, pay attention to what's being talked about today, because it's very important that we give our political prisoners the opportunity to come home. The only way we're going to do that is by being serious about the work that needs to be done. For those all viewing for the first time, we ask that you please donate $1, because $1 can go a long way. Let us do what we need to do to continue to move this idea forward about freeing our political prisoners.
That's right. Donate at least $1. A dollar goes a long way. Our political prisoners need to be free. So right on. Today, we talk about the Eid. The Eid in Islam takes on a unique meaning, that is specialized for Islam. In Islam, the Eid al-Adha, that recently we had a couple of days ago, is the commemoration of the essence of Abraham. You understand? And the essence of Abraham in Islam, which is unique to Islam, is monotheism. The understanding, the clarity that the true ideal, the most beautiful thing in existence, the most praiseworthy, that which we should dedicate our lives to, the most the highest of all, is Allah. You understand? And this is the essence of what Abraham brought. You understand? We in debating with people online, with various reactionaries and colonizers online, they are really going through some nervous breakdowns and act like they're in menopause about this whole idea of the Eve and Abraham. Many posts, you understand, and I'd be debating them and disproving everything they say. But I'm saying that this is a signal to us of the importance of the Eve. When our enemy, you understand, that we understand in political terms, who has power, who uses power to bring about his will, and that will is against our interests. When our enemy, you understand, has such a hatred for a thing, then that makes us understand that this is what we need to talk about and what we need to understand and what we need to deal with. The Eid, like I said, unique in Islam, the way we approach the Eid, the way we understand Abraham, is about monotheism. And in monotheism, there's a monotheism of the mind, the intellectual aspect of monotheism. Understand that Allah has 99 beautiful attributes. And we use the word "the" in terms of the way it's used, meaning the one and only. They can be one and only Most High. There cannot be multiple Most Highs. There cannot be multiple one and only one. Can only be one of the one and only one. So we don't go around talking about there's 1,000 one and only ones. You understand? And so we understand that in terms of intellectually, through the mind, the monotheism of the heart is that the being, the human nature, is guided, you understand, and benefits and is enriched and embellished by understanding that there's one true ideal, you understand? And this type of monotheism is explained in the book, The Ideology of the Future. Let me read the brother's name. The author is Dr. Muhammad Raufuddin. Wrote a book called The Ideology of the Future. Talks about human nature and how human nature responds when other things are seen as a god or the most beautiful, the most praiseworthy. When the heart relates itself to other things in this manner, for example, when the heart relates itself to alcohol and drugs in this way, that these things become the god. You understand? When the heart relates to materialism, money, sex, and these type of things, egoism, selfishness, one's position in life. When those things become related as a god, there are very, very painful consequences for the individual and for society. Oppression, exploitation, torture, transnational armed robberies, rape, genocide, infanticide, all type of horrors and painful consequences come when the human being, you understand, through the misappropriation of the human nature, you understand, sees these things as God. And so in understanding what the Eid al-Adha, the message of the Eid al-Adha, this is a very, very powerful teaching for our people, and it is a teaching that the colonizer despises.
Okay, not to cut you off, man, but I had a thought right now.
Yeah.
In the cases of Imam Jamil and Kamal Siddiqui, as well as yourself being a former political prisoner, how did you or get become empowered by recognizing the Eid Mubarak?
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's an old saying. In fact, there's a song that says, if you want to get ahead in life, you got to sacrifice. So everything that oppressed people have gained, the relative advances we've gained is because people were willing to sacrifice themselves and some have indeed and sacrificed themselves. Political prisoners in jail 30, 40, and 50 years. You understand? Because they were willing to make that sacrifice. You understand? Understood what they were doing and knew that that is what would have to be done. To win victories over this enemy. Enemy who really uses and depends on those who are willing to sell their souls for 15 cents. Who are willing to betray everybody. Their relatives. Who are willing to go to war and murder millions of babies. You understand? Who will do anything. You understand? For a dollar, for a position. For selfish ends. You understand? So we understand that these things are things that we sacrifice, that we give up. If you want to lose weight, you're going to sacrifice eating that candy. You understand? If you want to establish a bank account, you're going to sacrifice buying little silly items in the store that the colonizer spends thousands of dollars for 15 seconds of advertising to get you to spend your money. You understand? So we have clarity that there are certain things that have to be laid aside. You understand? For to produce, what is beneficial in our lives, and we understand that political prisoners have done this. You understand? Example of Mutulu Shakur. You understand? Here's a brother that's in hospice right now. You understand? And he needs our support. He was willing to give it all. This is a brother, like I said in instances before. This brother has the heart. You understand? Like a lion. Yes. You understand? A spirit. You understand? That cannot be broken. You understand? A love of the people. These are very, very valuable things for our people. Kamal Siddiqui exampled the principle of no snitching, which is very, very important because the snitch through our history has been a horrible weapon that the enemy has used against our people. They're telling on one another. You understand? People get in trouble and to save their own skin. They'll tell everything they know. You understand? So Kamal Siddiqui, we have a political line out here of no snitching. You understand? And he exampled that. Exactly, sacrifice because they offered him freedom. Yes. If he would snitch on a Sada Shakur, would set her up, would have her come out of Cuba and go to some place where she could be arrested. You understand? They offered him freedom. You understand? And dismiss all the false charges he had, which he's spending a whole bunch of time for right now. He's has very, very grave medical problems.
Yes, but and let me interrupt you for a second. And we mentioned the Sada Shakur. Let's take a brief moment to give her a revolutionary salute and Black Power salute as she celebrates 75 years.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Asad.
Happy birthday.
Continue, brother. You said Kamal Siddiqui is a man of principle. He stood on what he know was correct, and he had opportunity to come home, but he said that he's not going to do that.
Yeah. And so the thing we're talking about now is sacrifice.
Right.
Like Abraham was willing to sacrifice his only son. In no time was Isaac Abraham's only son. Ishmael was his firstborn. So when we talk about him sacrificing his only son, never has Isaac ever been his only son. Ishmael was the firstborn, and he was willing to make this sacrifice. And this is the essence of Islam, the willingness to submit our total being, our total will to the will of Allah, and through these sacrifices, we produce valuable things in our life. And like I just said about Kamal Siddiqui, you understand, by him sacrificing his own freedom, offered freedom, he was snitch on Asada, Asada is still free. Imam Jamil, another brother, very, very spiritual brother, a brother through his strong spirituality, was able to turn the lives around of many brothers brothers and sisters who are in what we call the Lucan proletariat, described as the Lucan proletariat, turn their lives around, sometimes called the criminal class, very, very valuable brother. We got people out in the street, to show you the value of when our political prisoners become free. Jalil Muta King, you understand, right now is going around in the nation organizing, people to stand up and resist. While in prison, he organized Jericho, you understand, a vast movement to free political prisoners. Sekou Odinga, who is the head of this organization that we are involved in, NEPPC, the Northeast Political Prisoners Coalition, also, look back to bring his comrades forward. And so, these examples of former political prisoners and the benefit that they have on our community, you understand, when they are free, evidence that the others need to be free too.
Right, and those are very important, powerful points because they give us a model, an example by which we need to conduct our lives. Here it is, the summer of 2022, and there are a number of obstacles that we have to deal with each and every day on a regular basis. But when we look and reflect on our political prisoners, then we understand that we need to commit ourselves to a greater good. We need to stand on principle. We need to begin by saying we're going to do what is correct. And what is correct is to put yourself second and the greater good first and foremost. And that's what the political prisoner does. And that's why they are currently incarcerated, because of the actions that they took prior to their incarceration. They were organizing the community for the community's interest, and they did that on a consistent basis because they understood their position of power. Because what people lack is understanding of the power of people, right? If you're a very astute organizer, then there's nothing you can't do for your people and your community. And I think Kamal Siddiqui, formerly known as Freddie Hilton, did or does because while he's incarcerated, he still inspires others. Because I know when we had the celebration for his birthday, just to hear him talk and how confident he was and how committed he was to the greater good, I became inspired because I'm able to wake up every day and move around freely. I know that we still struggling as people for real freedom. I'm still able to do what I need to do. Whereas he is confined, and even at confinement, he has to be more creative in terms of presenting his ideas to people. So that's one of the things that I benefit from this type of work and studying political prisoners, because you can't simply do this work without studying political prisoners. You have to engage with them, and that's one thing I give Abdul Haq Islam credit for because of his experiences and his ability to share his experiences without bias, without any type of shame or holding nothing back, because he allows you to see from him what he endured. And this endurance is necessary for any and all of us to have the life that we want. So we say that we have to organize political prisoners. We have to do it for ourselves. Huh? Organize for political prisoners. That's it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And that's the benefit of us having dialogue, conversation, because when we make errors and stuff, we're right there to correct each other. So when we organize for political prisoners and we do it in the community, that's important because it's very rare that we walk somewhere and we see a poster or a picture of political prisoners. And that's why, again, I salute the community of Queensbridge for continuing to respect the banner that was put up. And the banner was an open letter from Sundiata Acoli to the community of Queensbridge, and asking for support and assistance with him being able to come home. I know that wasn't the only thing that aided him in coming home, but in this type of work, nothing can get overlooked. Any and everything is useful. I always say if it's 0.00001% that what you did had an influence on a political person coming home, that is significant because it requires any and everybody doing something, as opposed to absolutely zero effect or impact on a political prisoner coming home because you didn't do anything at all. So to do nothing and expect something to happen, you're fooling yourself and expect. And in fact, I think that itself needs to be questioned regarding your mental health. And that's why we're out here doing what we need to do, because we understand the significance of everything that needs to be done to bring political prisoner home. If you're an artist, uh, do a mural on political prisoners. If you're a poet, write a poem on political prisoners. If you're a writer, write a book, an article, a newsletter on political prisoners. If you're a musician, compose a melody for political prisoners. Because what I'm saying is that we need to take all these talents, all these outlets, and use them. Right? Each and every day we wake up, it's a blank canvas. We paint the picture that we want for the world to view and interpret. And I think when we talk about political prisoners, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to present a mural. We need to present a canvas of a picture of political prisoners, and people would interpret that their own way, and they would make a decision about what they need to do. So, Abdul Haq, Islam, in your lowest point, while you were incarcerated and you were doing time on behalf of people, and Eid Mubarak occurred, what was the atmosphere like in the prison, and what did you focus on to endure those times?
Yeah, well, there's two Eids. One Eid is the Eid at the end of Ramadan. You understand? I remember when I was just about to come into Islam, we were in line, and there's a tall, strong brother, looking like iron or granite, standing in the line, and he said, Ramadan makes Muslims strong, So at the end of Ramadan, we have an Eid, which Eid means recurring happiness, you understand? And the growth and development that we had through keeping our lower desires in check, our lower animal desires in check, which allow us to advance and grow spiritually, you understand? We have an Eid celebration for that, and the other Eid is the Eid al-Adha, which I already said is the we commemorate and understand the essence of Abraham, who true message, you understand, in the Islamic perspective is monotheism. You understand? Understanding monotheism intellectually and the monotheism of the heart and soul. You understand? Understanding what polytheism can do. You understand? When our human nature, you understand, goes that way. You understand? It's on a collision course. You understand? With you name it, a thousand hornets stinging up your life. Pain and misery, problems, failures. You understand? When we allow other things to become the God of our life, that was organizes our life, organizes our thinking. You understand? Puts the direction. You understand? Makes us unconscious of unity. Destroys our ability to be free, to liberate ourselves. These false pathways. You understand? Which I'm writing a poem right now. I talk about the poison candy propaganda. You understand? That the enemy gives you, like they give little kids. You understand? To rape your mind and steal your riches. You understand? So understanding and being clear politically on how this works. Since we're talking about political prisoners, we're talking about the politics of the way it go down. You understand? The way the enemy uses his power to enrich himself by drinking our blood.
And one of the things too, whenever we talk about political or being politically correct, let's define politics, right? Only thing that the way it was explained to me what politics mean, and I think that it was very beneficial to me in terms of my level of commitment, is that politics just mean the relationship between power and people.
Right
And I
on.
think when you understand that, then you understand that it is attainable. It is something that is concrete, something you can touch, feel, hear, and smell, interact with just five senses. And I think that that's important because sometimes when we talk about politics, we hear people say, I'm not into those politics. I'm
You
not
are in
into politics."
politics.
Exactly. That is
You
self.
are in politics.
Exactly.
The fact that your lifespan is 20 years
Yes.
less than somebody else's
Yes.
is because of politics. So whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you involved in politics. You understand? The wealth, that your wealth is 40% that of somebody else. You understand? That's because of politics. So whether you like it or not, or whether you want to accept it or not, even if you want to live in a dream world, a world of make believe, if you want to jump in that river called denial, you understand, about everything and don't know nothing, you understand, you still going to experience the product of politics. So, we talking about politics right now, political prisoners who stood up to the power, who fought the powers that be, who Chuck D and them talked about, fought the powers that be.
Absolutely.
Very, very important, very, very inspirational to build up the heart, you understand, to put steel, you understand, inside the human being. You understand the courage of a lion. You understand the power of the sun. You understand in the human being to stand up and overcome any obstacles that get in our way.
Very, very important point because when we talk about politics and we talk about the relationship between people and power, and we talk about actions that we need to take, right? Because we want to explain something in layman's terms, explain something as simple and clear as possible. So therefore, we know that there's actions that we have to take. We're going to be out in Queensbridge this Friday with Transform America, our ally in this struggle to move our people forward. Sugar Ray, Hollywood,
Sugar Ray with the 155 punch combination. Go ahead,
and any and everybody else who's going to be out there. They're going to have free food. We're going to try to get our hands on some clothes to get to the community. We'll see how that turns out. At best, we'll be there with some material on political prisoners because we understand that we have to bring an idea to the people, and that right there is an expression of power. When we come together, when we talk, when we engage, you have an idea, I have an idea, and we walk away from that conversation with a raised consciousness individually and collectively, and we make a from that point on that we're going to do something about something that's incorrect. If you don't like political prisoners being in prison, you'll be doing something about it. If a political prisoner is just that, a freedom fighter incarcerated because of their struggle for freedom, then you will struggle to bring them home. If you don't think that they're terrorists, then you'll do something about it. If you think that they're terrorists, they're criminal and acting on a criminal activity, then you'll leave them alone and let them die in prison. See, that question has to be raised to the individual, and the individual has to raise it to themselves. What am I doing? Do I really truly believe that there's an injustice here, or am I okay with what's going on? Because to be okay with something that's incorrect and then you don't do anything about it, what does that say about you? That means that you don't stand for things. And one thing about me and one thing about Abdul Haq Islam, regardless of the struggles we got in our personal lives, we know that we have to take time out to struggle for what's correct, to participate in the process to make something in our favor. And how do we do that? We do that by taking action. So that's why Wednesday at 12 noon, we produce an episode. We ask that you share with at least 10 people. We ask that you donate $1. That dollar could go a long way. When you donate $1, give us a recommendation on what you want that money to be done with. I'll personally give you a receipt and I'll let you know what I was able to do, or if I need to save that money and get some more money to do something bigger, because that's what we need to do. We need to understand that there's an opportunity to stand on something, to aid something, to amplify a particular idea by our participation. You know this because an opportunity to change something in our interest is presented to us, and I think that what it Mubarak boils down to understanding sacrifices and understanding how do you apply that in your personal life and become better. What is the application of understanding what sacrifices is? How does one express that in your point of view?
Well, overcoming that selfishness, that impulse, you understand, to blindly follow something which really has no redeeming value, which cannot produce any true rewards for the human being, and to understand the bigger, more important things, you understand, and to move on that level, you understand, to go with that. You understand? Which means sometimes that you can run into the harm to yourself. That you can run into punishment from the oppressor. Though the one who oppressed us through the political economy. You understand? The relationship between the economy and the politics, the blood sucking economics, by which this colonizer has gone to every continent on Earth. You understand, and extracted vast riches, and has inflicted mega death on people. You understand? Now, this is something that we have to fight against. And we understand that in that fight, that we are we were taking a chance that we might have to sacrifice our own freedom, you understand, our own liberty, but we understand that in order to bring about that worthwhile product, that freedom, that liberation, you understand, the inspiration of our people, you understand. For example, what Fred Hampton did, and Fred Hampton Jr. did, by saying that where there's people, there's power. Make the people feel their power. You understand? And Chairman Fred, you understand, sacrificed his life for that. But he is still inspiring people to understand that where there's people, there is power. You understand? So that greater good came about through that sacrifice. And we're saying that brothers and sisters who have made those ultimate sacrifices, you understand,
Yes.
principally, we got to support them. Do not abandon them. Do not forsake them. Like someone who is not a true friend,
Right.
someone who will let you down at every time,
Right.
who will disappoint you. We can't be like that. We got to be uplifted human beings. You understand?
Exactly.
Aspire to the heights of our humanity. You understand? And do
Yes.
the beautiful thing. And the beautiful thing is to fight for those who fought for us, to fight for those who sacrificed everything for us. So I want to read the names of some people that need to be free. Free them all. Abdul Aziz, Abdullah Hakim Malik, Fred Burton Muhammad, Hanif Shabazz Bey, Kaba Abdul Malik, better known as Jeff Fort, Malik Smith, okay, Imam Jamil Alameen, Kamal Siddiqui, Matula Shakur, Sekou Dinga is free, Sunyana Kohli is free,
Leonard Peltier.
Julian Mutakin is free. Free Leonard Peltier. Free them all, brothers and sisters. You understand? We cannot forget them. The political that this enemy has used on us. You understand? To extract very, very great wealth. You understand? Is a horrible thing. Is a monstrous thing. As Attorney Roger Wareham said, what this enemy is and what he has done is far worse than any horror movie.
Wow.
So this the real life is a horror movie, and we got to fight. Stand up, free them all.
Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. That's right. So this episode has come to a close, and as we do every week, every Wednesday, that is, we end with words that are very inspiring by our brother in the struggle, Killer Mike.
Assad Shakur is alive and well. The FBI, you go to HE double hockey sticks.
And once again, we say happy birthday to Assad Shakur.
Happy birthday, Assad. Assad is free.
do this as well. And I have to give the credit to this idea of this Kathy Hughes of Radio One. She's like, Michael, it is time that you guys organize a fund to set aside to help people who sacrifice for our freedom. Meaning, every time something happens, I hear this. Why don't the gang bangers jump up and do something for us? Why don't you kill them? You kill each other. And I say to myself, when is the last time you sent money to Assata Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Matulu Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mumia Abu Jamal or Larry Hoover or Jeff Ford or Leonard Pelter? When is the last time you have made it your business to send money to a revolutionary or a hoodlum that has helped us? And until we start to do that, how can we ask these young men to be warriors? Because if they do it in the name of the hood, at least the hood gonna honor their name always. At least the hood gonna make sure at least their children got something or their mama's house is looked after. As a community, if we're going to ask people to bungee jump for us with no cord, be prepared to take care of them when they get a life sentence. Be prepared to look after their families. See, I don't mind the work getting done, but let's take care of the workers. Let's stop asking more out of people than we would do for ourselves. So what I'd like to see, my dream thing, is to see 1 million people from the culture dedicate $10 a month. That's $10 million a month, $120 million a year toward taking care of civil rights leaders who have worked on itself, like Rosa Parks, whose rent was paid by the owner of Little Caesars Pizza. We should have had a fund to make sure that she never had to worry about that again in her life. We should have a fund that makes sure money makes it to Assata Shakur, and Matulu Shakur has legal representation and food, and Leonard Pelter, who has diabetes in jail, can get insulin taken care of. And until we start doing it, $10 a month is about what you pay on a couple fast food restaurant visits. So if 1 million of us do that for the rest of our life, look at how well we'll be taking care of the people that we're asking to sacrifice on our behalf.
I agree. And recently,
What's the call?